Hi, this is Mash Rundown. If you enjoy movie reviews and trailer reactions, well, you're at the right place. So why not subscribe and hit the like button down below.
Today we're going to be reviewing the first season of KONOSUBA.
Yeah, click off right now. It's going to make you mad if you love this.
KONOSUBA?
KONOSUBA follows the tale of Kazuma, a shut-in who dies and is transferred to a magical land by a goddess, Aqua, where he must defeat the Demon King. He's joined by Darkness, a masochistic crusader, and Megaman, a mage that can only cast one spell, Explosion.
So looking at the good, it can be a very funny anime at times, or maybe not very, but it's a funny anime at times. Unexpectedly getting eaten by giant toads. It's funny, you laugh at that. Megaman constantly casting her explosion magic at the worst possible time, and she's completely incapacitated after that. It sets itself up for pretty good humor.
I also like some of the characters. I think in particular I like Aqua because to me she's the only character that progresses throughout the story. Because she starts off very bratty, and even though she's still bratty at the end, she still grows and becomes more understanding and focuses on saving and healing people.
She contributes.
Yeah, she contributes, but she grew throughout the story. Because she was a shut-in who really didn't want to... I mean, she was a shut-in in heaven because she never went anywhere or did anything, and she was a bit spoiled. Who never wanted to do anything, and later on she starts building walls to get money and food, and she contributes, and she just does some fun stuff. And I know Kazuma always complains that she does practical, like, magic jokes.
Yeah, tricks.
And tricks. But she's enjoying herself. What else is she supposed to do there? She's entertaining other people, making people laugh, having fun herself.
Yeah.
And I think she is literally the only character that showed any progress in the show.
Also liked how absurd some of the characters were. Like, being able to cast just one spell and then you're completely knocked out for all the rest of the fight is so stupid. But it's funny how devoted Megumi is to explosion magic.
And hard-headed.
Yes. And Darkness at first was interesting, but it does get a bit repetitive, her masochistic tendencies. So, yeah, some of those characters were fun.
They could have done a lot more with her because she was very one-dimensional. That was her, nothing else.
True.
Whereas with the others, there were some more interesting things going on, but with her, there's nothing.
Literally. And then, I mean, the animation's pretty standard throughout. There's times when the animation, like, they get really into it. Like, I'm going to say it again, during explosion magic. The animation, they, like, go full out. They go for it, and it's quite impressive looking. And also sometimes the jokes, the animation style changes. It really works with the joke, a lot of it. The timing is very well done. It's weird to say the timing of the animation change is done well.
Yeah.
But yeah. So then looking at the bad, one of the complaints I have is the anime is really going nowhere, it feels like. They get to the fantasy world, they've got this big quest to go on to defeat the Demon King, and they spend the whole of the first season doing nothing. In every episode, they accomplish basically nothing by the end of it. Yeah, they get the quests and they clear little quests, but it really feels like it's going nowhere and there's no progress ever made in this anime.
Whatever progress is made is really one step forward, two steps back.
Yeah.
And then I obviously have tons of issues with this anime, and my main issue is Kazuma. Because the first thing we see him doing is, now after he dies, because that was so short anyways, he's really talking to Aqua. And she says you can take any object you want, essentially.
Yeah.
And she's talking about swords and stuff like that. And he decides, I'm going to take you. So, number one, he sees women as objects. Because why else would he say that? And I understand she should have had better rules, but I also think that maybe she would see herself as...
Not an object.
Yeah, not an object that someone just kidnaps to go along with a journey.
Yeah.
And yes, he was very bitchy and he took her out of spite, but, you know, is that what we do? We kidnap women who we don't like or who are a bit bitchy to us? It's kind of concerning to me.
Yeah.
She didn't want to go. He forced her to go. Just because he can? I don't know. That's next level weirdness for me. He's also just useless. Like, he says that he plays tons of games and he died on the way to get the newest RPG or whatever. And then he gets to this fantasy world where he can do whatever he wants, but he's really so freaking lazy that he won't grind. It's like any RPG player knows that you need to go out and start killing the basic monsters and stuff in order to level up, in order to get better. Instead, he whines and stays in the city.
And does menial labor.
So I dream of this fantasy world my whole life. I get to it and I'm just going to do menial labor. Absolutely no bravery. Yeah. Not very many good qualities in him. And then we go on to my biggest issue with this character, and that is he's got amazing luck. And the one thing he wants to be able to do with his luck is steal underwear. Not get gold or weapons or, something that's actually helpful, but underwear. And that in itself is creepy, but, okay. But then the perverse pleasure he gets out of it and the perverse pleasure he gets out of the woman's distress is really concerning. I think that's very creepy and kind of serial killer-ish, because it's serial killers who really steal underwear and collect them.
And obsess over it.
And obsess over them. So it's not just this normal fascination or underwear fetish. You can have a fetish and get underwear from people generally consensually. That's fine. It's a bit weird, but it's fine. He just has this perverse pleasure in stealing it and making them distressed. And that really concerns me. I think that this character is my biggest problem, and I don't find what he does funny. And I think it propagates sexism. So yes, it's not going to make people do things, but if you live, for example, in a society where you hear a lot of those types of discourses about women being objects, women not being valuable, women being defective, because in this, all three of those women are defective in very big ways.
Yeah.
They're not, overly brave and, got tons of good qualities and just one bad quality. It's their one bad defective quality that is the overriding arc of their story.
Yeah.
That's my problem with that. So, for example, in South Africa, we have a very bad reputation for the way women are treated. And there's a lot of discourses around women just being objects and stuff, like what we see in the show. And if people watch that, it just enhances that belief.
Yeah.
And then you get what happens here. Tons of rapes, tons of domestic violence, all of those kind of things. And I'm not saying the cartoon causes it. I'm just saying it definitely doesn't help. And it just pushes that misogynistic, sexist, creepy vibe and belief in people a little bit further. And personally, I'd prefer things not to do that.
Overall, we watched one season, not because we wanted to watch one season, just nothing happened in the first 3 episodes, so it's hard to really judge something after 3 episodes of absolutely nothing. Having watched the full season, I'm not going to watch season 2. It's not on my list of stuff I really want to know what's happening and want to follow through with.
I personally will never watch this, and I wish I hadn't watched it in the first place. It's probably the most sexist anime I've seen so far. And not just because of the way the women are perceived or, that he objectifies her. It's just everything together. The whole viewpoint of women in this makes it very sexist to me. I find it very hard to just feel like, okay, that's just normal fan service. It's not so bad. This goes way beyond that. And I know a lot of people enjoy it because it's funny. And I see some of the humor, like you were saying, with the explosion magic and when they get eaten by the toads. That can be funny. But there's just so much wrong and concerning with this. And I hate the fact that it propagates a lot of sexist, misogynistic discourses that I really would have been better off not seeing this. By far my least favorite anime. I didn't think it was worth watching, and even putting aside the sexism, it's just that nothing happens. Literally. It is such a boring, slow anime. And there's like 1 or 2 funny pieces in the whole first season, and I'm like, is it worth that? No. If you enjoy this anime, can you tell me why? How can you look past the creepy factor in this? I just don't get it. It's really weird. Let us know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.
Later.